morning, friends. This is Captain Dave and Miss Brooke with Simple Plan Trucking, and we are coming to you from a rest area outside of Cranberry, New Jersey, kind of northeast of Trenton. We dropped last night or early this morning at about 1 a.m. at the Tropicana plant in Jersey City, and we're on our way south now to somewhere south of here in New Jersey. We're going to pick up a load and take it to South Carolina, and we don't pick up until about 1 or 2 this afternoon. I guess it's about 8 or 9. It's about 9 o'clock this morning, so we're getting the truck cleaned up. We just had something to eat, and I wanted to take a few minutes and give you an update, just tell you what's been going on in our world, and hopefully you'll share back with us and tell you what's going on, tell us what's going on in your world. We have been driving hard, let me tell you. One of the things that we continue to struggle with out here is how hard to drive. We like the idea of driving kind of super solo. I drive 8 or 9 hours, she drives 8 or 9 hours, and then we take off 8 or 9 hours and do life together. That was the idea, but it never seems to work out like that. The loads that come our way require us to be there sooner. Sometimes we're lured in by great money. I mean, last week we got a FedEx load from California to Florida, and we just couldn't pass that up. But the trade-off with that is you drive, pretty much back and forth the whole way there just to make it on time, and so it pays well, but you're pretty tired, pretty worn out, and not always fun when you get stressed out and tired. So we're trying to find that happy medium, and if any of you have suggestions on how you make that work as a team, I'd love to hear them, because it's honestly one of the things that cause us the most stress is being able to stop just in time for showers. A lot of times we find ourselves against the wall and with time that we just have to keep on driving.
That's how you get me to make these videos.
How's that?
You promised me a shower.
Oh, yeah. If you'll make a video, you get a shower today.
I got a shower yesterday.
Yesterday, right? So now she's good for another week.
No.
Right?
For another day or two.
Another day or two. All right. So, that's just something that's hard. And I don't think that we're pressured to drive more by our fleet manager in any way. I think that they just send us the loads that make sense for us to do, and we could say yes or no. I try to usually say yes, unless there's just some ridiculous reason that it doesn't make sense for us to do it as a business. But we'd really like to settle into a more regular routine out here on the road. That's one thing. The other thing is we're getting into wintertime. We're getting into the cold weather. For the first day, we're experiencing the Northeast in the fall, and I can tell you that we don't really like it. It's cold and rainy and dreary here.
Florida is cold today in the 50s, but it has beautiful blue skies.
Wow, no kidding, in the 50s?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is all gray and dreary and rainy and freezing and cold.
Yeah, when we come up here, we're both originally from the north. I'm from Pennsylvania originally, and Brooke's from the Boston area, but we consider ourselves Floridians because we've lived there so long. And I don't know how much truth there is to your blood thinning, but you certainly get used to the warm weather. And every time we come up to the cold weather, we always say we're glad to live in Florida. So we're just on the edge of wintertime, right?
It's supposed to be October, and I'm freezing. Yeah,
I'm freezing too, though she keeps the air conditioning on at night, and I freeze back there on the rare occasion that we get to sleep in the back together.
I like to get cozy.
Yeah, but there's a difference between cozy and freezing.
You're such a wimp.
It was
got all
cold.
that hair on you. You should be like a bear.
Well, just because my face is warm doesn't mean my feet aren't cold. I don't have hair on my feet. Oh boy. All right. So that's that. The weather has been a consideration. We're a little apprehensive about wintertime coming up. I did a little driving last year with my trainer, my first trainer. Second trainer, Jake, we by the time I got with him, the weather was good. We really didn't have any winter driving at all. So we did drive some in the snow last year, and I got some experience, but Brooke has had none. So this is going to be an adventure for us.
Snow. I was in March and April, so it was like slushy.
Well, yeah, you had experience on the pad in the snow. You didn't get to drive out on the road in the snow, did you?
No, we were up in the mountains, and I got some snow, but it was like...
With who?
With you.
No way.
Yes, I did.
It wasn't slushy.
It was freezing cold, and it was slushy and snowy.
I don't remember that.
There's always snow in those mountains.
Yeah. Hold on just a minute. Somebody's wanting to talk to us here. Okay, we're back. It looks like we have an auto repair guy here, and he was just asking if he could pull in front of us because he's doing some work on a truck to either side of us. So I said, sure, go ahead. We're going to be here a couple more hours. You know, we're going to try, we really want to get down to see our youngest son, Jackson, in Quantico, Virginia. He is there with his wife, Alicia, and they have a new baby that came in mid-July, and we've still not been there.
Still hasn't taken me to see the baby.
Still hasn't been there to see the baby, and we've been trying to get there. Well, we're going to be driving by today, but I don't know that we're going to have time to stop. Virginia, especially around the DC area, has just really been a problematic area for us to get loads into and then find somewhere to park. You know, there's not really anywhere close by that we can park the truck and visit for a day or two. Last time we went, we actually found a hotel that let us park our truck and trailer for a night, overnight at the hotel. They had one part at the back of the parking lot where they said, yeah, if there's no cars there, you can go ahead and pull in there. So we did, and we had a nice visit. But I really need to get back there. I've been promising to go see him. We both want to see the baby. But we're also, you know, motivated to keep driving. You know, we're trying to just do as well as we can. We made the commitment to come out here on the road, and what that means is that for us, that if we're not making double the money we were living in a home in Central Florida, then it's probably not worth it. And so we are. Right now we're doing that. We're making double. I have a goal to make more than that, and maybe it's greedy, but I really believe that high expectations are the key to everything. And so if you set your goals high and fall slightly short of that, usually you'll do better than if you hadn't set those goals. So we're going to keep pushing for them and working toward that.
Tell me about the hurricane.
Yeah, we last week we were routed to Florida. We had just come out of Florida, and I requested a load back to Florida. I couldn't believe it, because really the only time I like to go into Florida is when we're going on home time, because you just can't get good paying loads, especially if you're stuck down in South Florida. 9 times out of 10 we get sent to Tropicana. We did this time as well, but we went to Florida to check on the house after the hurricane, and praise God, there was no damage. The storm originally was forecast to come right in at Cedar Key, which is in the Big Bend area, out of the on the west coast of Florida, and North Florida, and it didn't. It actually shifted south. And for a time they were saying the eye of the storm was going to come in over Tampa, and then it shifted south again, and it came over around Port Charlotte or Fort Myers area. And so it was well south of us, and it kind of blew across the state, up the I-4 corridor, across Orlando, over to Daytona Beach and out to sea. So really we just got some rain and some wind. We got to the house a couple days ago, and thankfully there were just a couple of limbs that had blown down in the yard, no damage to the house, so we were spared damage. But you know, hurricane season isn't over yet, and with the crazy stuff that's going on in our weather patterns and the warmth of the water in the Gulf, there's a good chance that we could have another big storm coming into Florida. And if it goes into the Gulf, there's a good chance it'll blow up onto the west side of Florida. So we're hoping we don't have any more problems with that this year. Hurricane season will end in November, and then we'll be safe for 6 months or so. We got to Florida. We got a load out of there. They sent us down to Tropicana. It was funny because we were in South Florida I was thinking we were going to hopefully get lucky and get out of the north part of Florida, but we dropped in Port St. Lucie. We went down to check on the house, and I asked for something to get me back closer to home, and when I did that, they sent us a flower load out of Miami. Sent us from Port St. Lucie down to Miami to pick up a flower load, which we took up to McClenny, which is outside of Jacksonville.
Flowers?
Well, it was from a flower plant. It ended up being, it wasn't flowers, it was
bananas?
bananas. It was a load of bananas, but the name of the business was floral, some kind of floral business. I guess they do produce as well. So we dropped that at the DC, and then we actually came by the house on the way up there for an hour or two just to clear up the yard. Dropped the load.
Chickens.
Tended our chickens. Yeah, we had to operate on Bo, Big Bo, our rooster. Apparently the hens have been pecking at his neck, and he had a sore spot on it. It was kind of red and bloody. Something interesting about chickens is once they see red, if they're always picking on one chicken. Chickens are horrible animals. The old adage that the pecking order comes from flocks of chickens, and some chicken is always at the bottom of the pecking order. And our rooster is just, I can't believe he lets them do it, because he's a lot bigger than they are, but apparently they've all been picking on him, picking at his neck, and so it had a bloody spot in it. So Aunt Darla called us and told us, and she asked that when we come home, we get him down and hold him down, pick him up, so that we could get some medication on it, so that they wouldn't see the bloody spot and the red, and they wouldn't keep picking at him. And so far so good, it's worked. However, it was a funny story. It
was not funny.
Yeah, it wasn't funny in the moment, but it's funny now. So I was the one that got elected to pick the rooster up and hold him, and he wasn't real happy with that. He pecked at me a few times, but I had a big jacket on and sleeves and gloves because I don't want to get pecked. And so I picked the chicken up, and I got two of these other hens screaming at me, Brooke and Darla. And yeah, I got 15 hens running around the pen, and then these other two hens are saying, "Do this, do that."
You were squeezing him too hard.
Quiet. I'm telling the story here. So I held the chicken, and he's flapping.
He's a
and
rooster.
He's a chicken still. He's still a chicken. And he didn't like it. He wasn't happy at all. But I held him tight. They put the medicine on. I set him down, and then Darla says, "Oh, we missed a spot. You got to pick him up again." I'm like, "Oh, crap!" So I got him by his tail. I picked him up again, held him tight. Brooke doctored the other side of it with the medicine, set him down, and the chicken flops over and his legs stick up in the air.
He passed out. You stressed him.
And so Brooke says, "You killed him. You broke his neck." And I said, "I didn't break his neck. I didn't do anything." So, and of course, Darla's flipping out. She's over in the corner of the coop crying because she thought the chicken was dead. And so I said, "He's not dead." So I stuck my toe over there, and I touched him, and I kicked him a little bit, and he jumped right up, and he starts running around in the yard. So he was just a little upset.
Stressed. You stressed him out.
I think you and Darla stressed him out with all your cackling.
You held him too tight.
I didn't hold him too tight. I had to hold him tight.
At least he's alive, and he's doing better now.
He's alive, but he may end up in the pot. We really don't need a rooster.
Stop.
So anyway, that was the adventure with Big Bo, our rooster. Chickens are laying, what's Darla say, how many eggs now?
I don't know. There's a lot. We have buckets
and buckets of eggs right now. We're doing the what do they call it? Water glassing.
We're doing like 8 or 9 at least a day.
Yeah, 8 or 9 eggs a day we get, and she surely isn't eating that many, and we're not there to eat them. So we're saving them. They go into a water lime solution in buckets, and we probably have 6 or 8 buckets now.
Water glassing them. Might have at least a dozen buckets.
A dozen 5-gallon buckets full of eggs. So we've got eggs to last a long, long time. And
I can show you.
You have a picture?
No, I have eggs.
Oh, okay. We're going to show you what they look like. When we bought the eggs, when we bought the chickens, we wanted breeds that one laid lots of eggs, big eggs, and it was important to Brooke that they lay all the colors of the rainbow. So we've got different breeds that lay different colors. She's going to pull some of them out of here and kind of show you what they look like.
I don't know if you can see
Those ones aren't all the colors, but we'll put it over this way a little bit. There you go. See, we got some blues and some tans. We don't have any of the really dark brown ones in there. The black copper Morans chickens lay a pretty dark chocolate brown egg. They don't taste any different. They're all good. They're healthy. We don't have an organic farm, but we don't put any chemicals in their feed, so effectively they're organic eggs for us. We don't really sell them, but we give them to friends and that kind of thing. But we have a whole lot that are saved, and as I told you in a previous video, in our homesteading efforts, we invested.
That's a big fat.
Look at that one. This is from a black copper Morans, a real pretty egg. And
Then we got little bitty ones.
what's that one from? But that's kind of off-white. It's not really blue. Some of them are more bluish in color, greenish in color.
That's probably my cream leghorn.
Cream leghorn. There's a olive egger.
I don't see
It's
it.
not really olive, but you can see it's kind of got a greenish tint to them.
I don't think that's it. We have her green eggs are greener than that.
So it's fun. You know, we got plenty of eggs, and we've got the freeze dry machine, the Harvest Right freeze dry machine, and we're going to start freeze drying a lot of our food, the food that we bring out on the road. It'll be great because all we do is add water.
We don't have it yet, otherwise we would have made something.
And heat it up. Yeah, it's not arrived yet. It was on back order. They said it was going to take about 3 months to get it, but it's actually been longer than that. We've been waiting longer, so they're going to call us when it's ready.
I don't think it's been longer.
I do.
When did you order it?
About 4 months ago.
That's not true.
It's true.
It's not true. You just said it in one of those past videos.
No. Anyway, it should be here one day. And we're gonna when it's ready, the guy said he'd call, and we're going to arrange delivery for when we're there, because I guess it's kind of heavy and we need to get a stand either built or bought. We also need to put in a bigger electrical outlet, 20 amp, because it takes more juice. So we're going to start freeze drying meats, beef and turkey and pork and chicken, so that we have that
Meals to bring
and
on the
meals
truck.
and meals too. But the base ingredients for the meats, if we have those that are freeze dried and they won't go bad, that's our problem in the fridge. We go to the grocery store and we buy all this stuff, and we don't make it soon enough, and we end up probably throwing
Yeah, I
away
just
more
threw out
than
some carrots and radishes.
what we eat. So we have to do a better job with that. And if the stuff's freeze dried, it'll stay indefinitely, and we can just pull it out when we want it, add some water and heat it up. So that's our intention. And then let's see, what else can we tell you? Went out to California, went up to, where did we drop out there? Idaho? Is that where we took that first load? Huh?
Idaho is where we found out about the hurricane.
Yeah.
So I said I need to go home, and then he said we're going to California to pick up something to take all the way back to Florida, and we won't be home till after the hurricane.
Well, the truth is, even if we had left directly from
We
the
had
drop
two
off, we
stops.
would not have made it before the hurricane hit.
If it was going to hit us directly, then I would have went ahead and flew home.
It was about 3 days to drive, 2.5 days to get back to Florida. So, it made sense to get a load where we made the, effort to get out to the West Coast to make good money coming back. So we were just tracking the storm.
It sounds silly to go home during the hurricane. I'm going to fly back because the hurricane's going to hit us directly, but you got to batten down the hatches.
Well, we didn't know how bad it was going to be, and when we steered in the direction of home, we thought it was coming in on our house, and we knew we needed to get back to check on things. But as I saw that it wasn't going toward the house and the damage wasn't going to be that bad, I kind of was like, do we really need to go? But we were already committed to going, and I'm just thankful that the damage wasn't bad. There wasn't any damage really, just had a downed branch and some stuff had blown around in the yard. So Thankfully, we're in good shape with that. The other thing I hadn't told you guys about is, if you're noticing that our sound quality is better, for the last few videos, we had been using our new wireless microphones, the DJI.
It's up here on here.
It's on my hat. I have mine on my hat. Brooke has hers on her
A little bug.
sweatshirt, and then she
pom-pom.
likes the pom-pom on at the windscreen just because she thinks it's cute. I don't have one on mine. And so hopefully you're hearing us better. Yeah, it's a pretty big investment, but it's nice to use, and I can't recommend it highly enough. This is the DJI wireless microphone system. If any of you have questions on it, I can tell you more about it. I can also put a link if you wanted to order it. But it really helps out when there are two people that have different levels of speaking, and maybe one's not right in front of the microphone on the phone, the recording device. So, you know, Brooke can be up and around and doing her thing kind of behind the scenes, and she can pop in with her color commentary whenever she wants to. Right?
I got nothing.
You got nothing. You got nothing.
I'm cooking.
She's cooking. So yeah, they're just the adventures of being on the road. We're out here. We're living the life. We had originally thought we would go home in October, but we've kind of retooled that because we were just home. Even briefly, we checked on the house. We want to be home the first week of November because we need to vote, and everybody needs to vote. Remember, go vote. Probably no more important time in our lifetime to express your opinion and get out there and let, you know, if you don't vote, then you really have no basis to complain about anything. So make sure you get to the polls and let your voice be heard. That's the lesson for the day. We're good. We're loving it out here. I can't say that it's not without stress. There is some bickering, right? Is that the word?
There is crying and trucking.
There is crying in trucking. You know, they say there's no crying in baseball. Well, there is crying in trucking. I can vouch for that. And I can say that I hear on many times throughout the day that this is a deal breaker. This is a deal breaker, or that's a deal breaker. But the truth is, the deal hasn't been broken yet. We're both still trucking away, and we're committed. We're making it happen, and we're looking at maybe buying a truck. We've got. Well, Brooke says she doesn't know about it. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to tell you about. So, while we were in Florida, as many of you know, creatures are generally bigger in Florida than they are in other parts of the country. Some kinds of creatures. And a few nights ago, on the way down into Florida, Brooke was driving, and we heard this loud thump, boom. And we didn't know if we ran over something. It didn't feel like we ran over something.
No, that's not what happened.
Well, tell them what happened
And
then.
creatures aren't bigger in Florida. They're smaller in Florida. The deer up here up north.
I'm not talking about deer. I'm talking about birds, which is the animal that we're talking about.
And I saw this bird, and he came. Big bird, not a little bird, big bird. And he came and he flew straight at my truck and bounced off the side, and then out of my mirror I was like, oh no. And then out of my side mirror I could see him laying on the side of the road, and he was huge, like not as big as a buzzard, but
So there are big birds in Florida.
this wasn't in Florida. It was somewhere else.
It was in Florida. We hit two
it was
birds, if you
coming to
remember.
Florida. Yeah, but the second bird
The
was
first one hit up top.
One hit up top and went flying.
The one that damaged our truck was pretty big.
You damaged our truck. You should post the picture.
I'm gonna. That's where I was going.
It's not big damage.
So where I'm getting to with this story is that we ended up damaging the truck. The bird actually cracked our fender, the front of our, not our fender, but the front quarter panel, the hood of the truck. We were at the fuel stop the next day, and I don't know if Brooke saw it or I did.
I saw it.
Brooke saw it, okay, and said, look at this. And I came over and looked at it, and the hood on the right-hand side was cracked. So being the good prime associate that I am, I thought, oh, we need to report that. So I, called safety. I did a macro 38, I think it is, accidents or damage or whatever, sent that in thinking, okay, we'll just get this fixed next time we're at one of the terminals. You know, not good, but not that big of a deal. Well, yesterday, I get an email that says, we went ahead and charged you your $1,000 deductible for damage that you reported on October 2nd. I'm like, what the heck? First of all, it's like 2 little cracks in the front of the, on the hood of the truck.
I think we should duct tape them.
Well, the point is, why did I even report it? Even if I waited until I turned the truck in, I don't think it would have been an insurance claim. I think they probably would have repaired it in the tractor shop or the body shop, and they would have charged me. But because I told them I did it, and I clearly said the bird flew into the truck, I was charged $1,000 deductible. Now, I know there will be those out there that'll say, hey, you should know that. Read your contract. You know, you need to understand. I'm like, okay, I get it. If I didn't look at the contract, but if I do remember seeing that in accidents you have $1,000 deductible for the tractor and a $500 deductible for damage to the trailer. But listen, when you see this picture, I don't think it's $1,000 worth of damage. I think that in this deal, if Prime even files a claim on it, they're going to make money on the deal. They're going to send it to their body shop, and it's going to be fixed in an hour or two, and Prime puts $1,000 in their pocket. That's the way I see it. I do plan to call them today. It said call Success Leasing if you have questions. I want to make sure they understand exactly what happens, but it seems to me that for that type of an incident, we didn't need to file a claim for that. Even if I had to pay for an hour or two of labor at the body shop at Prime, I think it would have been much cheaper than $1,000 claim against the insurance.
I told him to call him and retract it.
For a bird that flew into the truck.
I said, never mind.
Yeah, Brooke thinks you can do that kind of stuff, but
See, never mind, we didn't need it.
Once it's out there, it's out there. The fact is, we've already been charged for it now, so just more in the trials and tribulations, a cost of doing business, as they say all the time. And as long as our costs of doing business don't put us in the red, I guess we're okay. But
Don't put us in the red.
Yeah, we're still in the black. We're still above the line with making money. Last week was a down week. We didn't do real well because we were off a day or two while we were in Springfield having some work done. What else were we doing in Springfield? We had to have something done to the truck, right?
Oh, why did we go to Springfield?
I know we dropped off the trailer and we went. I don't think it was for the truck.
Why did we go to Springfield?
I don't remember.
We didn't even check the mail.
I don't remember why we went now, but we were in Springfield. We went for some reason, and so that took us out of the drive for a couple of days, and it showed on our paycheck. And I find that when you get out of the cycle and you get out of the so-called routes or lanes that you're in, it seems like you once you get in a good lane, it's cyclical. You get a good load and a good load and a good load and a good load and a medium load and then back to a good load. But if you take it out of that and say you go to Springfield on a weekend, it can be terrible before you get out of there, before you get a good load out of there, and then to get back to where the real money is takes some time. So I'm getting to where I just don't want to go into these terminals, because it's kind of like going into the black hole sometimes. But we're back at it now. We're going to have a good week this week on the pay, because we started off with that load from California to Florida, and then we've had 1, 2, 3 loads since then. So we're back in the money this week, and hopefully back in the money for the next 4 weeks, because we're not going to go home till first week in November to vote. Remember, plan to vote. And then we're only going to stay home 1 week, and then we're going to stay out through the holidays, all the way through Christmas, and after the new year, sometime in late January or early February, we're going to take a week and go somewhere. I want to go on a cruise, because I love cruises. I think they're very relaxing. To me, it doesn't matter what the destination is. You just get on a nice big cruise ship, you enjoy the food, you sit back and relax, you go see some shows, have a few drinks, enjoy yourself. So, and if you go in January, February, the weather's cold usually. Even in Florida, that's the cold month. So it's nice to go somewhere where it's warm.
I want to go to Israel.
Yeah, we'd both like to go do a land cruise package of the Holy Land over in Israel. But that's like $5,000 a person, $10,000 total with airfare, and so we're starting to think, again, with the way things are in the world.
All this money and you won't let me spend any of it.
Well, if you spent it, you wouldn't have it, would you? Hey, I let you do some retail therapy 2 days ago, didn't you?
At Cracker Barrel, that doesn't count.
What do you mean? She spent lots of money at Cracker Barrel.
You rushed me the whole way. Why you buy that? What do you need that for?
I did not. I left you alone to do what you wanted to do. She said, I need some retail therapy.
At the table. Hurry up.
So I waited at the table while she shopped. She came back with bags and bags of useless merchandise.
Oh my gosh, this is so not true. I got soap for my shower, for starters.
Soap? Well, we only shower about once a week, so I don't know what you needed all that soap for.
That's not true.
It kind of is. It was last week.
That's how you like to have it.
Well, as they say in the trucking world, it is what it is.
Why did we go to Springfield?
Yeah, I don't remember now. Let's see. I know we had dinner.
Did some laundry.
We had
were
dinner.
There for a reason.
Yeah, we had to wait for something. We had to go there. That's just so crazy that we can't remember what it is right now.
I can't even at all.
I don't either.
I don't know. We're old.
Well, it was an important reason that we were there, so it'll come to me and we'll report back to you on that. So that's really all we have for now. Just a catch up on what's going on, some of the things that are challenging for us, and just another day, another week in the lives of Brooke and David on the road. That's what we should call it, on the road with Brooke and David.
On the road with Brooke and David. Road tripping.
Road tripping, that's right. You're tripping.
Cooking more often. I'm starting to get the hang of cooking.
Yeah. Well, what we have the other day made. Oh, one of my favorite dishes is like kielbasa, sausage and peppers and rice and onion, all that. I like one pot meals where you kind of mix it all together. So.
And today I'm making wild rice and mushroom soup with turkey.
No, the soup sounds great. I like white rice. I don't like the wild rice. It kind of tastes like cardboard.
It's better for you.
Yeah, I understand that, but if it doesn't taste good, I don't want it. So that's all. That's all we got for today, folks. And we're gonna check out now, and we're gonna get out of here in a couple hours and head on down to is it Camden, New Jersey, somewhere like that, to pick up.
And where are we going to?
We're going to South Carolina. Yeah, Richland, South Carolina is where we drop off tomorrow morning at 1 a.m. So then on to points unknown after that. That's it for now. Hey, listen, if you enjoyed our video, I'd really encourage you to subscribe, ring the bell, like the video, please, because that helps our algorithm, helps our channel grow. We're approaching 1,000 subscribers, folks. That's a big deal for us, and kind of doing it at our own pace, but we do get a lot of feedback that you guys are enjoying the stuff that we put out, and we appreciate that. Feedback is so important to us. We love talking with you. Just a side note also, I did hear from Cindy Hesh this morning that John Hesh, her husband that I talked about in a previous video, did pass away last night. He had cancer, pretty aggressive cancer, and it was very quick from the time we found out about a month ago to his passing last night. Is just a very sad occurrence. So Cindy, if you're watching, know that our hearts are with you. The entire Prime family is with you. We'll miss John, and we're praying for you in the days ahead. That's all we have. It's Captain Dave and Miss Brooke with Simple Plan Trucking. We love you. We hope to hear from you soon. Y'all be safe out there. Bye for now.
God bless y'all.